A few weeks ago, I had the idea to adapt a portion of a short story I wrote for class into a really short film. Like the project that inspired it, the film I made was kind of a disaster, but the challenges I encountered taught me some important lessons that will make my future projects much better. When I thumbnailed the storyboard, I had hoped I could complete the film in 2 weeks. I was really excited. The Pinterest board I made for reference was inspiring some stunning imagery. I was using a new technique that allowed me to attempt effects I'd never implemented before. Instead of animating every element of a shot in one file, I split everything up so I could focus on one thing at a time and compile it later. While this approach is absolutely effective, it also caused me to dive face first into my first big mistake. When everything is in one file, it's hard not to get overwhelmed with all of the work left to do in your face at all times. This is a blessing and a curse. It's stressful, but it keeps you focused on the bigger picture. When you're only focusing on one element at a time, it's easy to get carried away with details, and that is exactly what I did. The original time frame I had in mind for this project assumed I would be using the limited animation style I usually use, but I got carried away with the first piece of character animation and fully tweened it, making it pretty. While no doubt this looks really cool, it really set back my schedule, and it took me way too long to admit to myself that I needed to adjust my strategy. I extended the timeline by a week, but that wasn't enough. Knowing I didn't have room in my schedule to let this project go on indefinitely, I had to make some sacrifices. The first things to go were the least essential shots. Some of them would have looked really cool, but the story made sense without them, so they had to go. The next thing to go was the quality of the shots that remained. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, so lesson learned. Limited animation really is the move for most of the projects I do. Unless I really have the time to dedicate, or the project I'm working on is really, really small, fully tweened balls to the walls animation is not really feasible. There are other ways I can increase the quality of my work. To end on a high note though, I'll close out this video with a few things I appreciate about this project. The new approach I used allowed me to be much more flexible and creative. I'm excited to use it to make more complex animations and use moving camera shots in future projects. I also really enjoyed animating effects. I haven't really done that before. This film was also a good opportunity to practice voice acting. Sorry if you actually listened to that, but I am trying to get better. So, in conclusion, though I'm not really happy with how this film turned out, I am glad that I made it. Even though it's not indicative of the quality I'm capable of, it is a turning point in my animation career.